pass lead to the outside for that crossing route for an easy dot. Are you struggling to stop the run? Be sure you check out Meister Madden for a full guide covering all the meta formations from high form close to heavy panther. What is up, YouTube? Today we're going to be going over the Miami Dolphins mini scheme. Now, since you guys just killed the like button, we're going to go ahead and step it up. We're going to say 15 likes. 8 was far too easy, so 15 likes for the next part of this mini scheme. First off, we're going to be in the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I run this a little bit different on Mutt because I have Torrey Holt and I can put slot apprentice on him, and so I would be running him at the slot instead. But for this particular video, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take out Tyler Lockett and put in Tyler Lockett again. Now, this is going to sound a little weird, but this is going to be probably the more difficult part of this little mini series. You have to understand this. The wide receiver that is in the next part of your depth chart is going to be playing in the slot. So for example, if you wanted Tyler Lockett in the slot, what you would do is you would sub in Josh Gordon. And that is going to move Tyler Lockett over there. Now ignore that there's a tight end over there. It's a wide receiver. Now that we're in the strong slot package, we've made the adjustments of where we want our players to be at. We're going to go ahead and get into the meat of the money play, pretty much. The mini scheme. It's PAY shot. Everything you're doing is going to be based around PAY shot. Really easy play to set up. Now, Chaos and Mazomatic, they both have setups for this. I like to run it just a hair different than how they run it, just from my own experience against cover 2 more specifically. This is just a little more effective than I found. So, with that being said, what you always want to do is you want to have 2 wide receiver on the wide side of the field, preferably be on a hash mark. It's not necessarily demanding, but always do make sure that you do have those 2 wide receivers on the wide side of the field. So we're going to go ahead and move it onto left hash. So we have the 2 wide receivers on the right side. We're going to go ahead and cancel play action. Now, there's a lot to this play. This play is really good if you're going against people that like to send a heavy blitz, and this is where the slot apprentice and hot route master, if you had that, would really become clutch. The reason this is so good against the meta is because instead of taking like a 3-step drop back, you're going to notice when we snap the ball, the QB kind of like does this lunge forward animation. Now for the setup for this, I personally like to put RB on a swing route just to pull down claw flats, soft squats, curl flats, seam flats. Any kind of flat they're going to throw out there. I have RB on a little swing route. He's never, okay, take that back. Almost never going to be a read. He's just there to pull down any kind of flats that your opponents are going to put out there for you. Next, and this is pretty much how Chaos and Mazomatic run it basically the same. They streak A. Everybody runs it like this. You streak A and you slant B. Now, this is really good for man coverage when we start motion snapping B, even if they press. In man coverage, particularly, Josh Gordon is not going to be able to beat his man. I've tried slot-o-matic, crosser specialist, post specialist. None of that works. Trust me, none of it works against man coverage. So instead, what we're going to do, we're always going to be looking for B if they decide to run man defense. Now, this is creating a high-low read. The big yardage is going to be ran by Josh Gordon. The short stuff ran by, I want to say the Metcalf, but that ain't it. Metcalf is going to be open 9 times out of 10, depending on how the user reacts. So let's go ahead, let this run. Hopefully we don't get insta shadow. We probably will because this is practice mode. You can see the little lunge animation I was talking about. And pass lead to the outside for that crossing route for an easy dot. Now that was a gain of close to 25 yards. So this play, don't run it any closer. Don't run it in the red zone, period. We'll have a separate video going over a little bit of red zone offense and how you can attack the red zone, but don't ever run this in the red zone or you will pay for it. Now let's go into instant replay. I want to talk a little bit about this lunge animation that the QB does, and this is specifically to certain play action plays. Not all play action plays do this, but you notice he takes this little lunge forward instead of dropping back. So if they are sending a heavy pressure and you decide to block your both your running backs, then you're going to be able to easily pick that pressure up consistently. You can see right there, we have the slant open immediately. Say the user does something like this. He is like, okay, you know what? I'm going to bite down and I'll follow slant. You're going to have this deep crosser over the top. You can always take your slant almost every single time, especially if they're in a cover 2. You're pretty much just going to absolutely annihilate a cover 2. So we'll do this one more time. Again, be sure you cancel play action, RB on a swing, streak A, slant B, and motion them out. This is really important when they start getting into man defense, as that motion snap of the slant is going to just burn their man. Even if it's a press Deion Sanders, yes, I know that's crappy press, but yeah, it's high man coverage. He's going to get torched by that every single time. Now let's switch over to a cover 2. It's going to be the same exact setup, and this is where that little swing route from the running back becomes extremely important in pulling cloud flats, because I've noticed sometimes cloud flats and soft squats will jump the crossing route. I don't know why, but sometimes they will. So we're just guaranteeing ourselves a little bit more by putting the swing route out there, and then streak A, slant B, and you can almost always hit this crosser on the sideline with the passing down into the outside. So motion out Lee Mac, whatever his name is, Metcalf, and you can see right there, dot, possession catch, and if you have a little more time, you can hit that crosser over the top to the sideline really easily. So we'll do this one more time. Again, swing route RB. Don't put him on a wheel route, otherwise you're going to pay for it and you're not going to be able to throw that crossing route. Streak A, slant B, and just look for whatever the user chases and then throw to the opposite thing. So in this case, hopefully we can get some time. We do, and we got a dot. Now, you're generally going to have a little bit more time to throw that crossing route, but given this is practice mode sucks for blocking, you're almost never going to have time to throw that crossing route, so you can practice it. You'll get the idea of when it's going to get open, and you can almost always just laser them down the field. Now, let's go ahead and get into a simple cover 4 drop out of the nickel 3-5. The one that you're going to struggle against is going to be cover 4 quarters. That's going to be, it's going to be tough to beat that one in this specific play, but a cover 4 drop, essentially the same thing as if we were going to against a cover 3. So go ahead and set it all up. You got the slant if you have time. We don't have time right there as Geno Atkins just says us, but you can see the crosser right there was wide open for an easy dot. We'll do that one more time. Hopefully we can get a little bit more time. I mean, we're blocking 6. Surely we can get a little more time than that. See if we can double team Geno Atkins. Double team don't really work, so we'll throw that anyways. You can see right there, easy dot for a touchdown in that instance. Now, you're not always going to have the time, and this is kind of where I like to have a mobile QB if I'm running in split close, hence why we're in the Seattle Seahawks. Another person that works as well, and this team might be actually a little bit better for this one, is the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Will Fuller. I probably actually want to go to that team just because Deshaun Watson has escape artist, and then you have DeAndre Hopkins is just an animal, and Will Fuller has a lot of speed. So with that being said, we're going to go a little bit over cover 4 quarters. Again, this is probably going to be one of the more difficult defenses to really make this work. Sometimes you can get away with it. Other times you're going to struggle against it. So let's go into cover 4 quarters. Set it up the exact same way. Just like this. Slant B, streak A, swing out your right side running back or your strong side running back. Motion snap. Pray that you don't get intercepted. You can see right there. Hot dot to that crossing route. Now, keep in mind if that is a better DB, sometimes these DBs are going to play that match and man a little bit better. And in that moment is generally when you're going to want to take the slant. So just kind of keep that in mind. It depends on how good the defensive back of the corner is with the wide receiver. But generally it's going to get open against cover quarters because it just, for some odd reason, it matches way too late. As you can see right there, that's what's going on. Usually I'm going to possession catch that because you can get like a diving animation where they like reach out their hands like this and dive for it. And it's pretty much a guaranteed catch every single time. So this works against pretty much every single coverage your opponent's going to throw out. We can even go into man coverage. We'll go into a dime or dollar. I don't know what they have for defense. Your slant's going to be your go-to play in this situation. So let's set this up the exact same way. Motion out. And you're going to hit that slant. You'll see the crossing route. It's going to get absolutely bagged. But the slant is going to be absolute money. With that being said, this is how you're going to attack all sorts of coverages with PAY shot. Again, Chaos, Mazomatic, they both run this. I run it just a hair different by putting that running back on the swing, just because from my experience, I've noticed that cloud flats and soft squats sometimes will jump that crossing route. So in order to get that to be pulled down, That's why I put that little swing route out there instead. And that also includes curl flats. You'll see sometimes flats in general will just jump something completely absurd. But anyways, that's going to take care of this portion of this little mini scheme. And yeah, we'll see you guys in my probably my favorite play, wide receiver corner. I already made a video on this, how that corner out's a little bit money, but we're going to break down even more against different coverages. So we will see you guys in that video.